Hi, I'm Tomislav and this is Croatia off the beaten path. In this video you will get to see real Dalmatia, just without the sea. So stay with me and you'll find out what makes the town of Sinj so special. Sinj is a historic town in the hinterland of Dalmatia, the center of the Cetina river valley. This is a region where you can briefly forget about the globalized world and dive into a 300-year-old tradition which still lives. Before you start wondering who the men in the traditional costumes are, let me explain the basics that you'll need for better understanding of this charming town. The story of Sinj actually begins before Sinj, in the late 17th century, when the Venetians liberated this area from the Ottoman occupation. To make a long story short, the first residents of Sinj came here from Bosnia, looking for refuge from the Ottomans. They brought along a painting of Madonna, which would later become the symbol of Sinj. Several decades later, the Ottomans tried to win back the town. As Sinj was defended by only 700 men, everyone expected that the battle was already lost. However, the mighty Ottoman forces besieged the town's fortress and then suddenly withdrew without an explanation. This happened on the eve before the Feast of the Assumption. As the painting of Madonna was kept on the fortress at the time, a belief arose that it was Virgin Mary who actually saved the town. From then on, Sinj has been one of the biggest pilgrimage sites in Croatia. The most pilgrims arrive here on August 15th for the Assumption Day. Now we can return to the men in the costumes. They are called Alkars, and their story is also connected to the miraculous victory over the Ottomans. This is another symbol of Sinj. It's called Alka. The word Alka means a ring or a loop. It's also the name of a famous tournament which takes place in August. The goal of the Alka tournament is to ride in full gallop and drive the spear through the middle of Alka. Whoever wins most points wins the tournament. Competing at the tournament is a great honor, and this hasn't changed for more than 3 centuries. Alka has even survived the turbulent 20th century, when Croatia changed 5 states and 5 political systems. During my visit, which was in July, I got to see the training for Alka. You'll notice that the only difference is that Alkars were not wearing their traditional costumes. When you visit Sinj, the Alka halls and the Museum of Sinj Alka is a must-see. This is where you can feel the spirit of Alka, even if it's not on the schedule. Other places to visit in Sinj are the Franciscan monastery and the church where the famous Madonna of Sinj is kept. Fort Kamičak, dating back to the 18th century. Remnants of the Sinj fortress, with the Stations of the Cross underneath. And the lovely historic center of the town. It is mostly pedestrianized, and this is where you go if you want to feel the Mediterranean vibe. In the town center, you will also pass by several interesting sculptures and monuments, the tombstone of a 7-year-old Roman boy holding a ball, and public fountains with ice-cold water. In the center you can also find several nice restaurants where you can taste the famous Sinj arambashi. If you have time, you might also visit the neighboring villages on the Cetina river, which are connected by several cycling routes. In conclusion, Sinj is a town where you can feel the tradition, which is 100% authentic. While walking around the center, you might feel like you're in Split or Šibenik, just with having local people around instead of the tourists. Last but not least, if you're on a longer journey in the direction of the Adriatic coast, it might be a great idea to spend the night in this area due to its geographical location. That way, you'll be able to reach the coast or the ferry port in Split fresh, in less than an hour and without too much stress. So much about Sinj. If you're interested in more videos about Croatia, feel free to subscribe. Stay well and see you soon.